Every country in the world is terrified of their power. These hunters are so overpowered, they're basically monsters. And some even have the powers of actual gods being channeled through them. These are absolute units. They have abilities that can wipe out armies, level entire cities, and even bend a reality. So these are the most powerful national and S-rank hunters in solo leveling. Starting with one of the strongest S-rank hunters in Japan, Kei. He was a mage class hunter, and just like Mommy Chahe-in, Kei had a super sensitive nose for sniffing out mana. But his sense of smell was on another level compared to Chahe-in's, because Kei had to wear a face mask all the time, or he'd throw up. However, this was actually a dope skill, since Kei could easily detect enemies even if they were far away. That's why he was able to sense the Ankang's presence when they were on Jeju Island. And despite being a mage, he also had mad speed, like when he could keep up with another Japanese hunter, Ippei, who was actually an assassin type hunter. And as you know, assassins are generally seen as stronger and faster than mages. Now aside from Kei's nose and speed, his deadliest skill was his ice magic. This power was perfect for offense and defense since ice magic could impale or imprison multiple enemies at once. Kinda like Szilard, aka the Monarch of Frost. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Kei was the same level as Szilard. Kei's ice magic could also be used for defense. He could create a massive ice wall instantly, which we actually saw when Jinwoo almost beat Gotoryuji's ass. Kei also used this ice wall when he tried to defend himself from the Ant King, which actually didn't work and he died. Side note, Kei mentioned in chapter 96, wondering what would happen if Choi, the Korean S-rank hunter with fire magic, fought against him. Who do you think would win? But if you ask me, I'm betting it all on our boy Choi. Take my money. And you'll see later in the video how powerful Choi Jong-in is. Next up, Ippei Izawa, an S-rank assassin class hunter from Japan. So during the Jeju Island raid, Ippei was grouped with Kei in Team Delta. Since Ippei was an assassin, he could easily take down those monstrous ants. Plus, Ippei was super fast. So fast you think bro was a ninja straight out of Konoha. Sadly, he wasn't fast enough to outrun the Ant King. By the way, have you guys checked out the solo leveling anime? Because remember this guy? Yeah, that's Yoon-suk. He was actually a South Korean S-rank hunter, kinda like the Wolverine of solo leveling, but with lightning powers. Yoon-suk's lightning magic had a wide AoE, or area of effect, letting him wipe out multiple targets at once. Despite how badass he was, he tragically died during the third Jeju Island raid. His death not only traumatized Min Byung-gu, but also demoralized the Korean government on retaking Jeju Island. Next up, Akari Shimizu, a Japanese S-rank healer who didn't look like a healer because this girl was so strong she could carry around a big-ass axe that was bigger than her. Now the question in your mind is, was she stronger than Min Byung-gu? It's tough to say, because we never really saw her in action, or healing someone before she got headshotted by the Ant King. Also, during the fourth Jeju Island raid, the Japanese hunters were split into 4 groups, and Akari was part of Team Charlie with Kenzo and Tatsumi. Now about Tatsumi Fujishima, an S-rank hunter who might have been a strong swordsman. When he tried to avenge his teammates by facing the Ant King, we didn't even get to see what Tatsumi was fully capable of, because bro got instantly one-shotted. Next up, our boy Min Byung-gu. He was a South Korean S-rank healer and Bak Yeon-hoo's According to Bak, everything about Byung-gu is a little odd, even his sense of humor. Plus, Byung-gu was the first S-rank hunter who retired despite being in perfect shape. Sounds like Khabib. Min Byung-gu had good reasons. He mentioned that he was not actually fit for the job where you must kill or be killed. That's why he wanted to be a history teacher and live a normal life. Even though he was retired, multiple companies made crazy offers to Byung-gu, one even offering him a guild master position. Why? It's because Byung-gu was on another level with his healing powers. Seriously, the guy could heal multiple hunters at once, like when he patched up Bak and Dong-wook after they got hit with the useless Ant Queen's deadly poison. And when Ma Dong-wook lost his arm, Byung-gu was like, no problem, and boom, Dong-wook got his arm back. Plus, even as a shadow, Byung-gu easily healed Chahe-in, saving her from a close call with death. But he was not just good at healing. Byung-gu was also as strong as an A-rank hunter. He could also cast buff magic to boost his team's stats. And if he wanted to go full incognito, not like your Chrome browser, because they take all your data, Byung-gu could turn himself totally invisible, both physically and magically. Next, meet the South Korean S-rank archer and the guild master of the Fiend Guild, Lim Tae-gyu. Being an archer gave him a huge advantage. If enemies weren't quick enough to close in on him, they'd probably end up dead. Plus, Lim can create magic arrows straight from his hands. That's effing cool, guys. So this guy literally never runs out of ammo, unless, you know, someone decided to chop off his hands. And yeah, Lim's magic arrows could instantly pierce through the super thick armor of those giant ants on Jeju Island. The only downside for Lim Tae-gyu is he's not great at close quarters combat, especially when up against hunters way faster and stronger than him, like when Minoru completely defeated him. Next Korean S-rank hunter is Ma Dong-wook. This big guy is the guild master of one of the top 5 guilds in Korea, the Fame Guild. He's a tank class hunter who's so strong he could hold his own against Bak Yeon-hoo during their sparring match, and even knock Bak off his balance. Lucky for him, he didn't fight Bak in his beast form, because if Bak had transformed into his true form, Ma Dong-wook would have died. No, I mean, he wouldn't have been able to keep up. I'm sure he wouldn't have killed him. Jeju Island, Dong-wook showed how tough he is as a tank by totally stopping the Ant Queen's attack that was meant for Byung-yu. And his most interesting power is his ability to gigantify himself. This not only increases his size, but also boosts his strength. Dong-wook might be a giant powerhouse, but Kenzo Tanaka, an S-rank fighter class hunter from Japan, totally destroyed his ass in their sparring match. Then during the Jeju Island raid, Kenzo was so strong he wiped out multiple ants all by himself. But sadly, like most of Japan's top hunters, he was killed by the Ant King. Next up, Kane Tawata. This girl stands out as one of the few Japanese hunters who survived Jeju Island. She was also a member of Team Bravo, alongside Atsushi Kumamoto. Kane rocks the fighter class with her exceptional sword skills, boasting incredible strength and speed. Despite her prowess, Cha Hae-in outclassed her during their sparring match. However, that doesn't mean Kane is weak. After Jeju, she and the remaining Japanese hunters teamed up to defeat a giant in Tokyo. And these giants were not easy foes, guys. Despite their massive size, they were surprisingly fast, if you recall. Mari Ishida. We didn't get to see her in action, but since she was with the Alpha team alongside Goto Ryuji, that kind of tells us she was strong. Unfortunately, we didn't see her powers because, well, you know what happened. Minoru Hoshino was also a part of Goto's group during the 4th Jeju Island raid, but unlike Mari, he survived the Ant King. Hoshino was super fast and strong. In the sparring match, he zipped right up to Lim and with his brute strength slammed him into the wall in an instant. But after the Jeju Island raid, bro was traumatized, especially when he saw the Ant King easily kill their guild master right in front of him. Another Japanese hunter who made it out of Jeju Island alive is Atsushi Kumamoto. Even though he wears a surgical mask, he's not sensitive to mana. Anyway, unlike typical S-rank hunters, Kumamoto is a bit of a coward sometimes, picking fights only with those weaker than him, and he's known to sometimes sneak attack them from behind. So yeah, he might be seen as a scaredy cat, but Kumamoto has ridiculous strength, guys. There was this time, he just punched a hole through the ground like it was nothing. And his speed? Bro could keep pace with Bak and nearly killed Cha Hae-in if Jinwoo hadn't stepped in. And this crazy strength also comes from this special ability. When Kumamoto gets seriously hurt, he flips into berserker mode, going all out, fearless, and losing all control, attacking anything in his path. This power was actually triggered when Cha Hae-in severely injured his face. Now we have the South Korean S-rank hunter and guildmaster of the White Tiger Guild, Bak Yeon-hoo. Bak is a fighter class hunter who's so strong that he can spar with Ma Dong-wook in his human form. Yeon-hoo is also very fast, especially when he easily dodged Kumamoto's surprise attack from behind during their sparring match. Bak has an interesting ability called the Eye of the Beast. This skill isn't just for identifying the strength of monsters or hunters, it also sharpens his reflexes. It's possible that he used this skill to identify Jinwoo's limitless strength, also when he knew that he couldn't take on the Monarch of Fangs, Raken. Bak also has a very unique ability to transform into a tiger-like beast, which enhances his speed and power to insane levels. He can even slightly transform specific parts of his body. For example, during a spar with Kumamoto, he only morphed his hands and hair. This half transformation totally scared the hell out of Kumamoto. Next is Choi Jong-in, or Aizen. Just kidding. Choi is hot, literally, because this pretty boy is South Korea's top fire user. He's so strong that people called him the ultimate soldier. He's also the guild master of the Hunters Guild, the strongest guild in South Korea. As a mage, Choi specializes in fire magic, which allows him to destroy multiple enemies instantly, whether they're ant monsters from Jeju Island or earth giants. Choi can easily burn them and turn them into nothing. Also, it was rumored that Choi can instantly destroy a massive building with one spell. During the 4th Jeju Island raid, Choi mentioned his firepower could clear an A-rank dungeon. He proved this way back in chapter 65, where even while holding back, his powers turned all nearby beasts to ashes. Choi actually has 3 special attacks from his fire magic. First, he can throw several flame spears at his enemies, giving him great range and instantly burning his targets. Second, Choi can create a flame prison, trapping enemies or shielding himself from B-rank magic beasts. Third, he can create a flame dragon to incinerate any nearby target. Now, Aside from his spicy powers, this redhead is also fast. Like when they tried to rescue Jinwoo from the architect, Choi was fast enough to dodge the super fast heat vision of the statue of God. However, despite being a top fire magic user, Choi is not as strong as his vice guild master, Cha Hae-in. Also, cuters. Who do you think is stronger, Choi or Bak? To be honest, I can't decide between these two. Now we've got the S-rank hunter from Japan, who's now running the show as the guild master of the Draw Sword Guild, Reiji Sugimoto. Before he became the guild master, he served as the vice guild master. Being second in command and an S-rank hunter suggests he might be as strong as Goto Ryuji, or at least second in strength. The problem is, we can't really say for sure how strong Reiji is since we've never actually seen him fight. Like during the Jeju Island raid, Reiji was inside the battleships outside the island. And in Tokyo, when massive gates started showing up, he just made a deal with Yuri Orlov, who was actually an S-rank hunter that was really good at barrier magic. To be honest, if Reiji hadn't been a vice guild master, he'd be at the very bottom of my list. Just saying. Actually, I just realized that being a vice guild master, for that you don't have to be strong. I mean, look at Jinwoo. Yeah, he's a tank, but what makes him a pretty good vice is that he's smart and responsible. So maybe Reiji is not that strong, but a smartass. Next, Go Gun Hee. This guy's like my top favorite character. I don't even know why. The chairman of the Hunters Association and one of the 10 S-rank hunters in South Korea. Gun Hee was actually a vessel for a ruler. For those who don't know, rulers are powerful beings that are so strong you can consider them gods. And Chairman Go is not the only hunter with this kind of power. Gun Hee's status as the vessel of a ruler gives him the ability of telekinesis known as ruler's authority. Guys, it's quite an insane power, because ruler's authority can only be used by national level hunters. Chairman Go might be a vessel for an overpowered being, but since he was older, he couldn't use his powers as strongly or fight for a long time. Yet, despite his age, when the Frost Monarchs, Sillad, fought him, Gun Hee managed to deflect one of Sillad's energy blasts with his bare hands. And when the Frost Monarch created a wall of ice, the chairman easily destroyed the ice wall with a single headbutt. For a short time, Gun Hee even managed to keep up with Sillad. However, since Gun Hee's old, he reached his limit, and the Frost Monarch managed to impale him. Well, Jinwoo actually arrived and tried to rescue Chairman Go, but he was already too late. But guys, imagine how powerful Gun Hee was in his prime. Like, imagine, could he be as strong as any of the national level hunters? Like, could he be as strong as Thomas Andre? I don't know. No, that's too much. Or could he be the top of the S-rank hunters I've explained so far? Next up, Cha Hae-in, the vice guild master of South Korea's Hunters Guild. Not to mention our wife Jinwoo's waifu, and the mother of their son, Sang Soo-ho. By the way, when Jinwoo first laid eyes on her, he mentioned that Cha might be even stronger than Choi Jong-in, or maybe on a similar level to Chairman Go Gun Hee. More than that, Cha Hae-in is unique for her sensitive mana smell. This means every monster and hunter stinks to her, except, our boy, Jinwoo. Yeah, that's because Jinwoo had a secret passive skill that instantly rizzed Cha with just a scent. But, like I said earlier, being sensitive to mana can also be an advantage. It sharpens a hunter's senses, enabling them to detect enemies or other powerful beings. This is also how Cha Hae-in detected Jinwoo, mistaking him for Chairman Go. Cha also boasted top-tier speed, possibly making her the fastest S-rank hunter in South Korea. She showed this when she overwhelmed Kanai with her movements and easily punched Kumamoto in the face. While on Jeju Island, with just one swing, Cha Hae-in cut off the Ant Queen's head. And the most interesting thing is, she effortlessly dodged attacks from two of Jinwoo's strongest shadows, Igris and Beru. Plus, even when Cha Hae-in was injured, she was so fast she managed to dodge the Architect's attacks. By the way, the Architect, also known as Kandiaru, was a very powerful sorcerer and the one who created the system. But Cha Hae-in's greatest talent lies in her swordsmanship. She's so good with the sword, it kinda looks like she's dancing. That's why she gained the title, The Dancer. Well, she actually had a specific skill literally called Sword Dance that enhances her speed, and this power is just one way to show her terrifying strength. She also had other skills, like the Quake of Provocation, where Cha stabs her sword into the ground, literally causing an earthquake to damage nearby enemies. And if Cha wants to boost her cutting power, she can turn her sword into a sword of light, enabling her to slice through any material with ease. This came in handy when she fought Beru, piercing his super tough exoskeleton. Now, one of the most hated characters in solo leveling, Hwang Dong-soo. He's the brother of Hwang Dong-seok and wanted to avenge his brother who was killed by Jinwoo. Hwang Dong-soo was also a South Korean S-rank hunter that moved to America to join the Scavenger Guild. This vengeful douchebag was one of the S-rank hunters whose powers were actually boosted by Norma Selmer. Side note, Norma actually works as an upgrader for the American government's Federal Bureau of Hunters. An upgrader can make a hunter 20 to 30% stronger than they were before. As a result, Huang gained incredible strength, enough to effortlessly break a steel pole. And that was just from losing his temper at Jinwoo after our boy responded with his middle finger. There you go, Jinwoo. Huang Dong-soo might also be a tank like his brother Huang Dong-suk because Dong-soo could take a direct hit from an enraged Jinwoo. I mean, Dong-soo still took massive damage, but when he came back, Dong-soo looked like he had slightly healed himself. And when Jinwoo managed to kill him, turned him into a shadow, and named him Greed, we still barely got to see the full extent of his real power. I'm gonna be honest guys, I had a difficult time ranking Huang Dong-soo and Cha Hae-in, especially because Dong-soo didn't show his full strength. So can Cha Hae-in really overpower Dong-soo? Next, Goto Ryuji. Introduced in the Jeju Island raid arc, Goto Ryuji was Japan's strongest hunter and the closest contender for becoming a national hunter. However, that didn't happen because he was killed by the Ant King in Jeju Island. Goto Ryuji was so strong that his strikes could release wind bursts, and he could use his bare hands as blades, even cutting through Sung Jinwoo's skin, which is crazy because Jinwoo was super tanky back then. Now, if you tried to outrun Goto, forget about escaping, because Goto could easily catch up due to his speed. I mean, he was so fast that he deflected the Ant King's first attack against him. And sure, he might have been the top hunter in Japan, but he's nothing compared to the strongest hunters in Asia. Next up, Yuri Orlov. He was an S-rank hunter from Russia and had one of the most unique abilities. Yuri was an S-rank mage, and he was the best support-type hunter in the world. He also had a sharp sense since he felt Sung Il-hwan, Jinwoo's father, in the distance. Also, Il-hwan mentioned something very interesting when Yuri detected him. Daddy Sung mentioned that, a man with sharp senses, I see. Well, I guess there's nothing strange about that, considering where his power comes from. Does Sung Il-hwan mean that Yuri is also a ruler's vessel? What do you think? Yuri was not actually a good fighter, but his greatest skill is his ability to project a magical barrier that can keep the Japanese S-rank hunters, Kanae and Hoshino, from moving. Yuri can also extend his barrier to the point of blocking off a massive S-rank gate, yet he needed over 200,000 tons of mana crystal to achieve this. His barriers might be massive and strong, but if his enemies are stronger, they can destroy Yuri's barrier. This happens when the giants in Tokyo finally emerged out of the gates and ate Yuri alive. J. Mills was Canada's strongest S-rank hunter. Yeah, Canada represent! And he was so strong, he ranked at number 17 in the entire world. What holds him back on this list was not his power, it was his cocky attitude. Jay totally ignored Jinwoo's warning about the Monarchs, thinking that he could take them on solo. Like, bruh, the manhwa was not made around you. So when Antares, the Monarch of Destruction, the strongest of the strongest, showed up in Canada, Jay got straight up annihilated by the Dragon King's breath of destruction. Lennart Nierman is not just Germany's strongest hunter, he's ranked 12th in the world. This guy's on another level compared to most other foreign hunters for two reasons. First, he was able to see Jinwoo's large army of shadows hiding within Jinwoo's shadow, something that even Goto Ryuji wasn't able to do. Second, Lennart has the charge ability, which allows him to create transparent teal-colored gauntlets from his mana to shoot powerful energy blasts. This skill was strong enough to push back the Monarch of Fang's Rakken slightly, though this charge ability wasn't enough to damage the King of Beasts. Next, Jonas. He was so powerful that he secured the 6th spot globally. Jonas was also the strongest hunter in Brazil, and he was also a strong contender for the next national hunter. That's because Jonas was a ruler's vessel, possibly able to use ruler's authority or telekinesis or even spiritual body manifestation, a power that I will explain more later. Unfortunately, his powers were not enough to save him, as he died before he could even flex any of them to the audience. But what if I tell you that these S-rank hunters are nothing compared to the national level hunters that we're about to start with now? Because these hunters have the strength to destroy an entire country's military all by themselves. And they are so strong, they're capable of single-handedly clearing an S-rank gate. So to give you an idea of how powerful these hunters are, let me tell you where they started. National level hunters first made their mark when 5 S-rank hunters teamed up to kill Kamish, the inextinguishable flame, the boss of the very first S-rank gate. Side note, Kamish wasn't an ordinary dragon. This monster was also known as humanity's greatest calamity because it destroyed the American West Coast and killed hundreds of top-ranking hunters. Although it's mentioned that there are 5 national level hunters, only 4 have been named so far. The 5th one hasn't been introduced or even named in the story, but whoever or whatever he was, being part of the team that took down Kamish, that means this unknown hunter is, without a doubt, very powerful. Next up, we have Siddharth Bachchan, the national hunter of India. Like the unnamed national hunter, we don't know exactly what Siddharth's powers are, but since he ranks 4th in the world, he's definitely stronger than the unnamed national level hunter. Also in solo leveling Ragnarok, it was mentioned by Liu Zigang, another national level hunter, that Siddharth had a strong savior complex, which means that Bachchan uses his powers to protect people even when they never asked to be protected. Since he's also a ruler's vessel, Siddharth could use ruler's authority to pull things closer to him. He might even use a spiritual body manifestation that can transform his body into a monster. So what exactly is a spiritual body manifestation? To answer that, let's look at the national level hunter number 3, Christopher Reed. Unlike Siddharth and Jonas, we do know what he's capable of. Besides ruler's authority, he can transform into a one-eyed monster with the power to create flames so intense that they required 1,800 firefighters and 14 of the highest ranking mages in America to extinguish them. However, we don't fully know his strength because he was killed, off-screen by the way, by 3 monarchs at the same time. Now for the national level hunter number 2, Liu Zigang, the strongest hunter in China and the strongest in Asia aside from Jinwoo. Like the other national hunters, Liu is a vessel for the ruler. He was also hyped up by the Chinese Navy captain as being way stronger than Goto Ryuji. This was proven when Liu slaughtered hundreds of ants with just one strike. Plus, when giants started emerging from the gates in Tokyo, Japan, one managed to swim across the ocean to China, and Liu easily defeated the giant. Although we didn't see his full power, his twin swords show that Liu is a very powerful swordsman. Next, the strongest and number 1 national level hunter, Thomas Andre, aka Goliath. Thomas is a living legend who not only killed Kamish, but when bitten by the dragon, Andre took Kamish's fang as a souvenir. These later became badass daggers that he gifted to Jinwoo. Thomas is also both a tank and fighter class hunter. As a fighter, Thomas is insanely strong. He easily broke through Tusk's hymn of protection, smacked iron as if this shadow were a piece of paper, and delivered a punch so powerful that he blasted Jinwoo into the air. But what makes Thomas exceptionally tanky is his ultimate power, reinforcement. When Thomas activates reinforcement, he's covered in golden armor from head to toe with demonic black horns, and his hair starts burning like fire. In this form, his skills also grew stronger, like capture, which has a force so strong it's like a black hole. And in the light novel, Thomas used this exact skill against Kamish, floating the dragon into the sky and slamming him into the ground. Plus, with Andre's immense strength, he can also use Collapse to break open the ground with his fists and concentrate mana into a single fist for a deadly punch. Another proof that reinforcement is one of the toughest armor spells is that this armor is so tough, Thomas Andre managed to stand toe-to-toe with 2 monarchs like Rakan and Jinwoo. I mean, it took a couple of punches from Jinwoo before he actually broke reinforcement. And even when Rakan destroyed the armor, if you look at Thomas, he seemed like slightly unscathed. But there is someone much stronger than the number 1 national level hunter Thomas Andre, and that would be Sung Il-hwan, one of South Korea's first S-rank hunters and the father of Sung Jinwoo. Sung Il-hwan may not be a national hunter, but he's the vessel of a ruler. He was so overpowered, he was considered a magic beast. Moreover, Il-hwan was powerful enough to receive a mission from the rulers themselves to kill the Shadow Monarch Ashborn. This mission changed when the rulers realized that Ashborn's vessel, Jinwoo, wasn't actually a threat, shifting their focus from killing Jinwoo to protecting him. And thank goodness the rulers changed their mind, because it would have been messed up if Sung Il-hwan had to kill his own son. As an assassin type, he had stealth ability, which allowed him to blend with his surroundings. His speed was also no joke. He not only kept up with 2 monarchs, but also deflected the Frost Monarch's icicle attacks without breaking a sweat. Besides that, Il-hwan's physical strength is beyond impressive. He brought Hwang Dong-soo so close to death that Hwang spent months to fully recover. Il-hwan also managed to fight 2 monarchs all by himself, and he was so strong he managed to kick Rakan in the face, sending him flying into the Frost Monarch and crashing through multiple buildings. Finally, Sung Jinwoo is, without a doubt, the strongest S-rank hunter, not just in South Korea, but the greatest hunter of humanity. Jinwoo not only can clear S-rank dungeons all by himself, but he's so strong that even other S-rank and national level hunters rely on him. No, actually let me rephrase that. The entire world relies on Jinwoo, whether they know it or not. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of cosmic being tries to invade Earth, because whoever they are, Jinwoo will whoop their asses. Now when Sung Jin Him finally gained God tier level power, he terrified the strongest hunters, including Goto Ryuji. He also killed Hwang Dong-soo and even defeated the number 1 of the national level hunters, Thomas Andre. Plus Jinwoo wiped out the monarchs, who can pretty much be considered as gods, and he destroyed all of them, not just once, but twice. Actually, when Jinwoo defeated the monarchs, he asked the rulers to use the Cup of Reincarnation to bring back time, so those who died in the war could get a second chance. Jinwoo also had insane superpowers like creating massive armor by summoning the power of death. His telekinesis also evolved to the point that Jinwoo can literally float military vehicles. Jinwoo can also open multiple gates, use memory manipulation, turn invisible, move as fast as lightning, teleport, have an unlimited inventory, alter his age, and the strongest of them all, absolute Riz. But all these skills are nothing compared to his most broken ability, shadow extraction. This skill allows Jinwoo to extract and control the shadow of monsters or hunters who died or he defeated. Plus, his strongest shadows can solo entire dungeons, or even worse, can destroy the world. And by the end of the manhwa, Jinwoo could summon millions of shadows, and this is how he achieved that kind of power.